the pain we can't hush. In the MMA finest, we're the real tough guys, breaking down barriers, we aim for the skies. Into the octagon like a warrior I stand, trading blows, taking hits as I command. The art of combat, I'm ready to go. Submission, knockout, that's how I flow. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with my the Golden Octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling like the Golden Octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D Rose.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. As you guys know, my name is Matt. D Rose is over there on that side of your screen. We appreciate you guys for stopping by here, hanging out with us tonight, whether you're watching this live or, hours, days, years from now. We appreciate you for stopping by. If you don't mind, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. D Rose, we're here this week. No fights this weekend, but hey, it's always fun to recap this past week. Somebody's got to be eating some beans. Talk some news that has came out over these past few days. So before we get into all that, how have you been over this past week, my guy?
No, things have been great over here, man. And, feeling very festive. It's the holiday season. So, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Me personally, Thanksgiving is always my favorite holiday. I know people love their Halloween and their Christmas and, Valentine's Day. But for me, I'm a Thanksgiving man. I am actually fasting today. So that way I can make all the room for the food tomorrow that I'm going to absolutely stuff myself with. So I want to make sure that my appetite is nice and built up. I love this time of year. I love making all the food and stuff like that. And, I don't do all the cooking, but I do a majority of the cooking, including the turkey. So yeah, this is my time of year. We're going to be watching the Cowboys and the Chiefs game tomorrow. As you know, I'm a Cowboys fan. My dad is a diehard Chiefs fan, so it's going to be a little ruckus in here as well. We're going to be eating a little turkey. We even got some Uno cards and stuff like that. So looking to have a good time tomorrow.
Should be fun, man. Should be fun. I hope you have a fantastic time with your family. Yeah, I just moved to Texas, so I don't know nobody. I ain't got no friends. We did go shopping this morning. Got a little food. I am not a turkey guy. D Rose tries to tell me every year about how good his fried turkey is. I don't give a fuck. I don't like turkey. Turkey's ass. I'll occasionally eat some turkey lunch meat, but that's as most turkey as I eat. I'm not eating no damn turkey. I got a little piece of ham that I'm going to put in the oven, warm up a little bit and make a whole bunch of sides, dude. And, since we are in Texas, there's tamales everywhere for the most part. So we got some tamales we're going to warm up as well. So, yeah, with that being said, appreciate y'all for stopping by here.
You're definitely a hater on turkey because, okay, so one, I'll tell you, there's one I do that's deep fried, and of course, I've always told you about that one. There's this new one now, and I know a big reason why is like, what you think turkey's dry, bland taste or anything like that. So we get these turkey breasts at work, so they're like giant turkey breasts, and it's like 2 in a pack, and they're huge. So I ended up making it for work the other day, and I threw it in the crock pot, and dude, I will 100% tell you, I let that cook overnight for about 12 hours. That was the best way I've ever eaten that turkey, because that was the most moist. Just everything just hit on that turkey. Perfect texture. I mean, I could literally, when I took the knife, like it almost fell through the turkey. That's how tender and juicy it was, man. That was the perfect one. I wish I could get you to try it.
No,
Unfortunately, you wouldn't. But
dude, there's a
man,
bunch
I'm
of
telling
shit
you,
that I
it's awesome.
just don't eat just because, dude. Like I don't, dude. As a kid, I used to eat like bone in, like fried chicken, like wings. Something happened to me when I was like in the Navy, dude, where it's like, dude, I don't want anything with bones in it, dude. Give me the boneless wings, dude. I just something throws me off, dude. I think it was like I had ate some like, dude, when you're on the ship, like they don't tend to cook like everything precisely because they're trying to feed like 1,000 people. So it's like, dude, I got some like halfway cooked chicken once that I got fucking sick off of, and I think ever since then, anything with a bone in it just kind of like just throws me off, man. Like I don't know. So
Yeah.
I'm a little girl when it comes to chicken nuggets now.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that's what they are. They're not boneless. They're not boneless wings. They're chicken nuggets essentially at the end of the day. But yeah, man, you gotta. So the thing with wings, you gotta let them cook a little bit longer rather than a little bit short because the bone contains the juice. So it's fine to let that cook. Versus if you have anything that's boneless, is you don't want to get it out early, but you don't want to let it overcook because you get that thing out and it's as tough as Angela Hill when you try to bite into it.
It just crunches. It just crunches.
And
All
you're just
right,
sitting
yeah.
there just gnawing on that thing like a well done steak, just sitting there just grinding the thing out.
All right, man. Let's get into the show. We got our UFC Qatar recap from this past weekend. There's some pretty solid fights. In the main event, Arman Saryukin submitted Dan Hooker round number 2. I mean, aside from Dan Hooker just looking way slower than Arman Saryukin, was there anything that really surprised you in the main event this past weekend? Early in the morning, like noon.
Yeah, so I'll say that I think it was Oscar Willis who I know you said I think he was, interviewing him. And I know you sent me a few clips from there, but he kind of said it perfectly. Um so you thought that, Charles Oliveira couldn't submit him, and you thought
Yeah.
you were going to guillotine him. Like, I mean, at that point, and I know he used that a little bit against Mateusz Gamrot to get out of certain situations, but yeah, we've seen Arman Saryukin against a world class jiu-jitsu black belt. And Charles Oliveira get out of that submission. Dan, why do you think you're going to be able to submit him? Figure out a better way to stuff Arman's takedowns. You've had enough time to prepare for this fight. So yeah, I was definitely a little bit disappointed in that, but yeah, Arman, he looked good, man. I can't hate. I know some people were definitely looking for him to fall. I was one of those that I didn't like his attitude coming in. I couldn't stand the headbutt the other day because I was like, it's like he doesn't see what he could have potentially done to potentially ruin that fight, and then
Mhm.
he's just so into himself that I just don't think that he has a bigger understanding of what's going on around him sometimes. But
Yeah.
as far as his talent as a fighter, obviously proof is in the pudding. Dude's as good as they come. He's number one in the weight class for a reason. And I know there's a lot of names that's getting thrown out for the title, man, but there's a very good chance that he could be fighting for the title next.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Did you see Dan Hooker's head? Like, I guess after the fight, like it almost looked like a Joanna Jędrzejczyk, like half alien, dude. Like he was like fucking swollen in like the most weird spot that I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a couple of elbows that Armin was able to land
I
that
think a
ended
few
up
headbutts too,
yeah.
like
Oh
in the
yeah, too.
fight.
Yeah, and on the ground and stuff too when they were kind of kind of scrambling and stuff like that. But yeah, no surprise there. And plus Dan just got a lot of scar tissue built up as well. So no surprise to see him swelled up and kind of bloody.
Yeah. Co-main event, we had Ian Gary win via decision against Bilal. Man, I was hoping that he would knock out Bilal, but I thought like at the end of the day, dude, Ian Gary wins all these fights via decision. Like, is he ever going to finish any of these guys? I don't know. Like he finished D-Rod, but that's because D-Rod likes to use his chin as defense. So we probably could have saw that coming. But aside from that, dude, Ian Gary wins via decision. Pretty clean decision too. Like Bilal trying to use his Canelo hands the whole fight, dude. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand the Canelo hands approach. But we saw it in the Jack fight, and we saw it again here. What's your thoughts as a semi Bilal fan? What's with the Canelo hands, D-Rose?
Well, I mean, honestly, for me, I don't necessarily think he wanted to come out with the game plan of the Canelo hands. I honestly think Ian Gary really did just a good job at just, keeping the distance and not really giving Bilal many takedown opportunities. And, when Bilal was able to get get like a single leg and try to go for the takedown, Ian Gary was able to keep his balance until he got his back up to the fence. And he was basically able to break Bilal Muhammad's grip every time they got backed up. So, Ian Gary did look pretty strong in there. When they got in the clinch, there was even a couple times where Ian Gary was able to, kind of flip positions and even got Bilal's back a couple times, against the fence. I'm with you that Ian Gary, he's not the finishing machine or anything like that, but man, he does get better every fight, and he did land some pretty good shots on Bilal. He did land some pretty good eye pokes in there as well. But I know there were some people were thinking that Bilal was going to try to find a way out of there, but no, I give it to Bilal, man, and that's what that's kind of why I came around on him earlier than everybody else. But yeah, he's got a little bit of that dog in him, and honestly, for me, I think it was the second Vicente Luque fight, because although that fight was kind of boring on his way to a win, there was a couple of times where he got rocked in that fight. And I thought Luque could have went in for the finish, but he was still able to kind of stay in that fight and stay in Luque's face for the most part in that fight as well. Even getting rocked a couple times. So, once I saw that, I kind of saw some dog in him. He's got a little bit of dog in him. I think he wanted to go for the takedowns in this fight and couldn't necessarily get them because Ian Gary was just not giving him much to work with. But I think it's just because Ian Gary, not because Bilal Muhammad sucks. I think Ian Gary is that good, and he just gets better with each fight.
Yeah, man, fair. And then the card falls off quite a bit from here. Feature fight of the night was Volkan Oezdemir versus Alonzo Menifield, or Volkan Oezdemir comes out and, like we were saying last week, man, I did pick Alonzo Menifield to win this fight, but dude, this fight to me was a coin flip. Could have gone either way. Volkan Oezdemir just went out there and put his foot on the gas. But I will say that if that fight would have went into round two, Volkan Oezdemir would have been gassed, dude, because he was throwing so much. But no need, because we didn't get there. The fight only lasted about a minute and 27 seconds, man. So what's your thoughts on Oezdemir versus Alonzo Menifield, if any? And it don't really mean anything for the division, if I'm going to be honest.
No, it doesn't mean anything for the division. I think just, kind of cool for as far as, a guy like Volkan, who's kind of been around for a little bit, kind of got forgotten about there for a little bit of time. And he was no time there for that surgence in the UFC when he first came in. I think the DC loss kind of broke him to a certain extent. It took him a little bit to kind of find himself, but the last couple of years he's been pretty damn consistent, man. He's only losing to, like really good fighters, like Yuri Prochazka and guys like that.
Goldberg.
So yeah, Carlos Oldberg, and that was a very contested fight where some people thought that Volkan Oezdemir won that fight. So, he's been very consistent for a long time. Now he's starting to put the finishes back together. I mean, he's a fun fighter, and maybe it was a little bit earlier than what I thought. And we'll talk about Waldo Cortez Acosta too. But I feel so dumb because I bet both of those in a parlay for round 2, 3 KO. Instead of doing round 1, 2. And I don't know why I did that, because I did think that Volkan Oezdemir was going to get the KO, but I thought it was going to be in the second round. I felt pretty good about that, but landed the big shot early. And yeah, I loved it. It was like a Dragon Ball Z combo, dude. Like, dude, he kind of went, did a little bit of Dustin Poirier in there when he was throwing, all them hands against the fence. And I liked what he told Bisping. He wasn't trying to, throw haymakers. He was just trying to just land as many as he could and land the money shot. And he landed that big one and put Menifield out.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, man. Moving on down, we got McTapick versus Jack Hermanson, dude. So this was an odd fight because McTapick recently moved up to 170, and he fought Mateusz Gamrot or Mateusz Rambetsky like a 170, which is a fellow 155er. So we really didn't look too much into it. So this was his first fight against someone not his size, but it wasn't a regular fighter. It was against Jack Hermanson that was moving down from 185 for the first time. And dude, Jack Hermanson just came out there, and we saw his game plan. I liked his game plan. You know, it kind of looked like the same game plan that he had versus Joe Pyfer. You know, and he ended up beating Joe Pyfer. Now looking back, dude, Joe Pyfer couldn't knock out Jack Hermanson, but Miktabik, you know, just pretty much one shots him at a certain point in this fight. But so at 2 minutes and 46 seconds of round number 1, Miktabik Orbai knocks out Jack Hermanson, dude. And did he land the follow-up shot or no? I know that he didn't need to, but he for sure landed like an extra one there. So with that being said, what's your thoughts on Miktabik Orbai and Jack Hermanson? What happens with Jack from here, dude?
Yeah, I mean, is it fair to say, because I know you said about Pyfer not being able to knock out Hermanson, but is it fair to say that one Hobo Cop could have potentially cracked the chin? You know, the dam is broke now. You know, it's going to keep leaking, and then a possible 15-pound difference in weight cut. I mean, he looked good, for fighting in the division, but his first time, sucking himself down that dry to be able to make that weight class. I mean, that's a pretty tough cut for a guy who he wasn't even small at 185. So cutting down to 170 at this point in his career, potentially having chin issues, because that's 2 brutal KOs in a row for him. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if Jack retired. I mean, I don't know how much stock I really put into the win for Miktabik, because a guy like Jack Hermanson, I did predict that Miktabik was going to be able to get it done. So I did think that the speed was going to be a little bit of a difference, and it ended up being the difference, because the way he kind of darted in and landed that big right hand, it was almost like Hermanson didn't even see it coming, and it barely even landed. It just kind of scraped his ear, but it was enough to put him out. And like you said, the follow-up shot was not needed, but I guess he's just doing his job until the ref pulls him off, which I understand, but yeah, he was definitely out in the first
that's
one.
two times that like the follow-up shot
In a row.
got landed that didn't need to. One versus Hobo Cop and then one versus Orbai. Now it's like, what is Jack Hermanson saying to these fucking refs? Let me die in there. Like, do not stop the fight.
What did he say to the fighter? Like, why are they going? Why they keep going in for extra shots on him? Like, is Jack Hermanson like low key a bad dude behind the scenes? Like, what are we missing?
Maybe, dude. Maybe. All right, dude. Moving on down to what the highlight for me of the week was so it was going to be Shamil Gaziev versus who was it going to be?
Sergey Spivak.
Sergey Spivak, yeah. And I was kind of looking at the Sergey late props, and then it got announced Wednesday or Thursday last week, like the Waldo fight.
It was like I think you would send it to me. It was like Thursday morning, so it could have been Wednesday night, Thursday morning.
Yeah, so like after the podcast last week, we both picked Sergey to win, and then Waldo is announced that he is going to be the replacement fight, on 4 days' notice, and flying, all the way to Qatar. So he flew all the way to Qatar, went out there. And I texted you before the fight, and I was like, Waldo KO 2-3 pop, like fucking props here are going to be live. And, I found a way to bet, something like that, but lost both of them because Waldo comes out here and snoozes the blob in round number 1, dude. But I mean, dude, Waldo has this tactic where he'll like back up to the fence every single time and just eat your shots. And then the second that you stop throwing, good fucking luck, because 2 times in a row now, that's what happened. Like one time he got eye poked, and then fucking the second time, was this right here. I think maybe the Sergey Pavlovich fight was him I fucking Sergey Pavlovich has good in and out footwork, I think. And, one, like, he was either in landing shots or he was out where, fucking Waldo couldn't fucking land the shots and fucking Waldo couldn't fucking take him down there. So, fucking Sergey Pavlovich, kind of a different story, but against these lower level heavyweights, dude, there's zero chance Waldo's losing to any of them, man.
Yeah, no, and honestly, with moves like this, like, dude, this is how you become like a cult hero with the fans.
And the eye
And
patch.
this is the way that you can cut the line in front of everybody for a title shot. Like, dude, if you keep doing stuff like this, regardless if you lost to Sergey Pavlovich, as you see, with him doing the eye patch, as you just said, he's doing a lot of marketable stuff, trying to get himself
there at the bottom.
yeah, I mean, putting the eye patch on the correct eye for Bisping, because he didn't want to 100% blind him and put it in the good eye, so he had to make sure that Bisping could see there. But no, for Waldo to take that fight on such short notice, fly over, because I even said the same thing to you. I was like, dude, that's a hell of a flight to make. And of course it's heavyweight, so it's not like he's having to make a draining weight cut. I'm sure he probably fights at his walk around weight, if I had to guess. He might lose
or
a
at
little
least
bit, but
around maybe 10 pounds over.
Yeah, he probably cuts down or bulks up, whatever the case may be. But heavyweight's not as bad. But dude, just to not be preparing for a fight, and then all of a sudden, hey, I gotta fly halfway across the world on 48 hours notice and get ready to go.
I think it's a 16, 18-hour flight.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy for Walter to do that and to turn around and to knock him out in the first round. That was dynamic. And as you said, he's got that little kind of almost honestly kind of reminds me of a Derek Lewis style. Like for me, Derek Lewis always kind of backs up against the fence and tries to see if he can then land a big shot of his own. They have a little bit of the same style. I'm surprised they haven't entertained making that fight, because I know Waldo Cortez Acosta has been on Derek Lewis's radar a couple times. Derek Lewis has called him out a couple times, but Waldo Cortez Acosta's got bigger things on his mind. He's eyeing the title shot. And the crazy part is, I just saw earlier, he said he wanted to get in on the last card of the year.
Yeah.
But I think that they said they're going to potentially have a fight for him on the pay-per-view next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's trying to get another fight so he can get that 6th fight in. And I'm with you. Any lower level heavyweight, he's cleaning them up.
Yeah, dude. Probably gonna be like a minus 1,000 fucking next week though, huh? Like it don't matter who it is, because it's gonna be someone that they're kind of looking at signing. They're like, let's see how this guy does against Waldo. Like he has no business being in there against Waldo.
Yeah, well, and honestly, the thing is too, like, Waldo's a good athlete. Dude, he's clearly got good boxing. Like his setups are nice. That little
leg kicks are getting better, dude.
Like takedown defense is good.
After the Pazal fight, he learned, hey, I gotta check these leg kicks, because they're just fucking me up, because people are just gonna leg kick me and then fucking try to take me down. Like after that fight, something switched. Yep. And like I said, dude.
Yeah, and he's been, and honestly, here these last couple fights, getting these finishes the way he has been, man. Like, I think that was part of him that was missing in his game, because I know a lot of times early in his career, I know you would always
the Andre Arlovsky fight, dude.
Oh, yeah, I know that was one that you could not stand when he's doing
because I bet him by knockout. I'm like, how does he not knock out old ass Andre Arlovsky, dude? And he's doing the salsa in front of him. I'm like, motherfucker, dude.
Yeah. So I know early on people hated him for stuff like that, but dude, him getting these finishes in the last couple fights, the way that he has, he's 100%. I think made a turn for the fans, where every single time the fans see Waldo Cortez Acosta, they're gonna be hyped, because he's been delivering the last few fights.
Yeah, man, time for him to fucking drop the ball and fucking ruin everyone's bets here soon.
Yep. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get taken down by some new dude coming in on like 2 weeks notice or something like
fucking
that.
Like some fucking light heavyweight on like fucking 4 days notice. Like, dude, what the hell?
It's gonna be like Thomas Peterson, like goes in there and like takes him down. It's like, dude, what, you lost a freaking Thomas Peterson? Are you serious?
Anyway, moving on down, dude. We had Tagir Ulanbekov losing to Kyoji Horiguchi via 2nd round submission, dude. Yeah. We've kind of knew for a while now that, Tagir had these performances where he would win, but close, or he would lose and be like complaining about it, like, or Khabib would be complaining like about it in his fucking corner, even though it's like, dude, what is there to complain about? He's not making the right fucking choices, and he loses to the returning to the UFC older now, Kyoji Horiguchi, and he looked good, dude. I don't know how he's going to look against I guess more people his body type in the UFC, now that he's back, but I'm interested in Kyoji Horiguchi. What's your thoughts on that fight, man?
Well, and one thing I can say for Kyoji Horiguchi is that I know that he's had a couple losses within the last few years, but I guess to be fair, a lot of those were at bantamweight. He lost to Anthony Pettis, but he lost up Sergio Pettis, but yeah, he lost up at bantamweight. A guy who's bigger than him, and he was winning most of that fight before he got caught with that big elbow as well. So he's a very talented fighter. But I think at flyweight, man, I mean, I knew he was good coming in, but holy smokes, honestly, he exceeded, well exceeded expectations, because I did think that, yes, it did not lose any speed at all from the last time he was in the UFC to now, because I thought maybe the cut down the flyweight where he's been fighting at bantamweight the last couple of years off and on, I thought the weight cut could have potentially had a little bit of an issue flying across the world like he has, and did not have a problem at all. Dude, let me say it again. He whooped Tagir Ulanbekov. Like, dude, we have not seen Tagir Ulanbekov get his ass kicked like that. Like, he's lost fights. He's looked pretty good in certain ones. Was it Bekside Omicron that he fought in his last fight?
Azat Maxim.
Azat Maxim. Okay, I kind of mix all those guys up. They have a little bit of similar same name, but yeah, he that was a little bit of a dog fight. He got his dog tested in that, but he ended up getting the win. Dude, this fight was not close. Like, yeah, I know Ulanbekov had a couple moments, but dude, it was just like those body kicks that Horiguchi was landing was just absolutely roasting him, and to the point where Ulanbekov's trying to duck from the body kicks, and then eventually gets caught with that head kick and gets put out. Yeah, Horiguchi, and there's a good chance that he can get the title shot next with that little promo he cut at the end too. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it. And you got the little teammate angle that Dana White always wants to try to play into. I wouldn't be mad at it if Pantoja beats Josh Van.
Dude, he had a good promo there too. Like he was like like he was like, Pantoja, I don't care for teammates. Business is business.
Yeah. I mean, Dana loves that stuff. Dana loves that stuff. So yeah, I mean, shoot, if again, Pantoja, he has a tough test ahead of him against Josh Van. So we'll see how that goes. But if he gets out of that fight, I mean, that fight would make a lot of sense. And you got the storyline with the teammates and everything, man. That's money to be made.
Indeed. We got Dave popping in. Oh, I woke up just in time. Indeed, Dave. Indeed. We appreciate you stopping by here tonight. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Happy Thanksgiving tomorrow, man. So up next, start of the prelims, or the last fight on the prelims, was Bogdangrad versus Luke Riley. Dude, Luke Riley knocks out Bogdangrad in the second round. And yeah, dude, I think one thing that I just kind of noticed in that fight was how big Luke Riley is for 145. He's got a noggin on him too. Fun fighter. It looks like he can get wrestled. So going forward, if he's fighting, someone with a heavy wrestling game plan, I'll still probably pick the other fighter. But right now, looks like he's just down to bang it out. What's your thoughts on Luke Riley knocking out Bogdangrad in round number 2, man?
Yeah, he looked good, but I will say that I know you said that he looked, pretty big in there, but was it Muhammad Naimov that Bogdangrad fought in his last fight, I believe?
Yeah,
because he looked pretty. Yeah, I believe it was Naimov, but he looked pretty small in that fight as well. I mean, I would potentially,
I think it's like head size. I don't know why.
But he is. But I am with you, like that. The size difference was pretty apparent. But I think a lot of it may be on Bogdangrad. He looks like he's fighting up a weight class where if he could maybe cut down to 135, he looks like he might be at a more adequate size of those guys. But no, good performance from Luke Riley. I mean, I don't have much on this fight, but a good good knockout there, and it was kind of like the Dan Hardy, Carlos Condit, kind of both throwing the left hook at the same time. Who's going to land there first? Type of punch, and Luke Riley landed his first, and it was a nasty knockout.
Yeah, man. So moving on down, we had Nicholas, the Danish Dynamite, or I think he changed his fighting into something else now. Taking on Saigid Izagakmaev, dude. I picked Nicholas Dalby to win this fight via decision. And by damn, if he don't come out here and breathe his damn way to victory in a fight that he deserved. Did you get to watch this one, man?
I will say I did not get to. This is one that I did not go back and watch. I just saw
I saw Nicholas Dalby won, so I figured he deserved to win. Dude, it was a close fight, but he won in the most Nicholas Dalby ways by just out hustling fucking Izagakmaev. And round number 3 or after round 2, so he was in like Islam's fucking corner, dude, and they had his arms up, ice on his back, like massaging his arms out. After round 2, he was cooked. And you go into round 3 cooked against Nicholas Dalby, dude, you know what's about to happen. He's about to just fucking toy with you, jab at you, pick at you, clinch you up against the fence, land those knees, dude. And that's exactly what happened. It did go to split decision, dude. Somehow went to split decision. Or I'm not sure if it was split decision, but I know that it ended up being 1 round and then fucking 2 rounds like the other way. I actually think it fucking may have been the fucking split decision. I don't I remember now, to be honest.
Well, it's a Nicholas Dalby fight, so I wouldn't be surprised if it did end up in a split decision, because if he's not getting finished, he typically ends up in those types of situations.
Indeed. We had Asu Amabayev taking on Alex Perez, dude. Man, Alex Perez was whooping Asu Amabayev, dude. Every moment of that fight, he was winning that fight. Round 3 started. I forgot what happened. Maybe I don't know the position that happened, but anyway, Asu Amabayev ended up in a standing guillotine on Alex Perez, dude. So Alex Perez is on his feet, and Asu Amabayev is now wrapped around his neck, on the feet, dude. And he ends up fucking getting him. Alex Perez taps out via standing fucking guillotine, dude. And I jumped up, dude, because I had Asu Amabayev in damn near every single one of the bets that I had. And I had Asu Amabayev by submission as well. So when that happened, dude, I was so fucking happy. Did you see this fight at all, man?
I was able to go back and watch some of it. I didn't get to watch in its entirety, but I was able to kind of watch like the highlights from the fight. But it was a good performance from Alex Perez, and I know we kind of backed him before, so it just kind of shows the reasons why we had kind of been believers in him at maybe that he had turned a corner, but then you see something like that with the I guess they call it the flying guillotine. But it was almost similar to how Davidson Figueiredo caught him, with that guillotine. He kind of just jumped in midair and just kind of was cranking it until Alex Perez tapped. It's something that Alex Perez has been prone to getting caught with before, and just surprised that a guy who's been fighting at this level for this long hasn't cleaned that up. But it was something that Amabayev, he needed to get it done, and he absolutely did.
Yeah, and okay, moving on down to what would have, if this was still a thing on the podcast, dude, this would have been our fisting of the week. Abdul Rahman Yakiev knocks out Rafael Cerqueira in 33 seconds, dude. Can we get this dude at fucking trash can out of the UFC, dude? I do not need to see him get knocked out anymore, dude. He just came in here and lost, I think, 4 fights in a row, dude. What are we doing? I think he was undefeated, came to the UFC, and he's 11-4 now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the point. You get him up. He's got a pretty decent record still. If you just look at the number, 11-4, so it's not it's not terrible. You give him at least one more fight. This dude's supposed
he's
to be
lost 4 in a row in the UFC. Dude.
That's what he serves his purpose. Rafael Cerqueira. I don't even know what to think about with Abdul Rahman
Yakiev.
Yeah, truthfully, it's just like Cerqueira. You know what? go out there and what did Aaliyah say? Dust yourself off and try again. Go ahead, man. Dust yourself off. Go out there and try it again. And if you're on the end of a highlight reel again, who's crying?
If at first you don't believe, dust yourself off and try again. Moving on down. Bezcat Almacan taking on Alexandre Taporia. This was D Rose's dog of the week, and that's what happens, man. Lose 2, dude. That's 2 in a row now.
Yeah, back
2 in a row now. Backs against the wall now. So you lose the one next week, dude. That's it for D Rose's dog of the week. All right.
Next week.
All right. So Alexandre Taporia wins this fight via decision. Did you get to watch this fight or no?
Yes, I was able to watch it.
All right. I'll let you talk about it, dude.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I mean, look, there was at least one judge who gave it 29-28. So I did think that he was able to, Almacan was able to get a round off of him. But yeah, Taporia, I will say he has very similar shades to his brother to a certain extent. He might not have as much power as Elia, but very similar with the style. The heavy boxing. The kind of being able to shoulder roll punches and kind of firing off. Once you get out of their punching range, and then you just kind of just stand right in your punching range at the same time. It's a very slick, very kind of hard style to get off in MMA a lot because it leaves you open the leg kicks. But he got caught with a few good leg kicks from Almacan. Almacan was able to get that, but once Taporia was able to power through that, man, that jab was like a piston, just snapping it off. Taporia looks good, man, and I don't know if he's going to be fighting for a title anytime soon, but man, what is he, 6-1, 7-1 now? So, so yeah, he still got time. I know he's a little bit older, but just in terms of his, his fight style, he doesn't seem to take too much damage. So I wouldn't mind seeing him maybe get a few more fights under his belt before he starts fighting some of the top guys. But man, he looks good, and like I said, shades of Elia, and man, he looks good.
Yeah, man. So moving on down, Ismail Nardiev knocks out Ryan Loder in round number 1. Nuro Aliv wins via decision against a guy named Shamrock. That was kind of odd. And Denzel Freeman wins via decision against Marek Bujlo, where I picked him to win via knockout and lost me some money. But shout out Denzel Freeman for winning the fight. What's your thoughts on any of those, if you have any, on the rest of the prelims, man?
Nasty knockout from Nardiev. I kind of saw that one coming. Ryan Loder, I know he's an Ultimate Fighter. He's the Ultimate Fighter winner, correct? So
yes.
So yeah. I he's going to get a little bit of a longer leash, but he could be entering the Rafael Sakura territory where he could be getting served up as a highlight reel. I would not be surprised. Yeah, as far as the rest of the card, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch the first 2 fights. I didn't really care.
Sorry, man. You were at work. Trying to slang them Kias.
Hey, I was very busy. So and once I saw that, especially the first 2 fights were decision, I'll let it
go. That's fair. So that's our UFC Qatar recap. But it's not the end of the time we're going to talk about the card, because one of us has to eat the beans. So I'll go ahead and get the music turned on, and we'll go ahead and get to announcing it. So let's get to feeding the ducks. So,
man,
this past weekend, we had, how many different picks did we have? Let's see. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different picks this past weekend, D-Rose. But I'll say the ones that count. The ones that counted were Alexandre Taporia versus Bezcat Almacan, Jack Hermanson versus Miktabek Orabai, and Arman Saryukian versus Dan Hooker, in which I had Taporia, Hermanson, and Arman Saryukian. So I do win 2 of the 3, which means I am pick champ of the week, baby. Got the belt out of storage, man. It's back. 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 It's back.
We're starting to run a little low in this thing here.
Eat the beans. Eat the beans.
Once I'm done with these,
Eat
I'm done with
the
these.
beans. Eat
I ain't doing this no
the
more.
beans.
What's
the flavor gonna be? It's gonna be a stink bug, dude. I had that one last week. Oh, I literally almost threw up.
Oh man.
Oh,
Omicron, man. How could you not win? Dude?
stink bug. That was your dog of the week too, and you still lost it. That one was still fresh. That was still fresh.
Oh,
Does it taste like a stink bug smells, dude? Like
Yes.
spot on. I had that one last week.
dude.
Oh,
Like
that
I'm
was
smelling
terrible.
it now.
Dude, yeah, that was terrible.
Like that's the worst part is how I'm smelling it now, dude.
Yeah.
That is,
You got to get rid of that bag after because the bag's going to smell like that.
oh no, that honestly, the last time I come on.
Oh, the burnt rubber.
Oh my god.
Burnt rubber licorice. What's it
The
gonna
thing
be?
is, it doesn't
Medicine
matter
or
what it
burnt rubber. Medicine or
is.
burnt
It doesn't
rubber.
matter what it is. It's going to be nasty. That's the worst part. Who likes licorice?
That might have been an actual bad Peter Deer is taking some active classes.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know which one it was. Did
the
it taste
thing
like
is,
medicine or
it's
rubber?
licorice, but it's still gross, dude. Like, oh, it tastes like
Oh,
freaking
that's
cough.
funny.
It tastes like cough medicine. Like that one's not as bad, but it's still like it's not good. Like it's supposed to be the good alternative. Where it tastes like cough syrup. I mean, it's better than the stink bug, dude. But holy
Yeah,
smokes.
dude.
I'm literally smelling stink bug right now. Like I can't get it out my nose.
Yeah, dude, that's not a good one. That's not a good one. Yeah, well, that's fun. So I ride into the last two cards of the year as the pig champ. Just need to hold on to it. Just need to hold on to the pig champ for 2 more weeks, and I ride it into the new year, dude. Hopefully, dude. Hopefully. I haven't really looked at the card for the next 2 cards yet, but hey, we got a few weeks. We got a few weeks before we even there.
Yeah, I kind of took a peek at the card,
Lean bean.
coming up next week, and I mean, honestly, dude, that card next week, it's actually, I'll give the UFC credit, because a lot of people were bagging on the UFC, they hadn't been putting on good cards, but it's a pretty solid card with some, some pretty solid matchups, some names, I'll be pretty excited to see. We can maybe, I mean, I don't know if you want to run through the card or anything. We don't have to. I mean, we could just maybe brush over if you want, but just as far as like just names and stuff like that, I'm looking at the card right now, and it, that pay-per-view is a little bit of a banger, kind of like a hardcore banger, but nonetheless a banger.
Fair enough. Let's get into the UFC news and fight announcement segment of Video Rose. So, I guess what I'll do is I'll just kind of pull up my Instagram, and hopefully there's not too many Alien Perez pictures posted. That'll get us taken off of YouTube. Yeah, so I guess look right there, dude. If I click that, man, we would get pulled down. We would get pulled down, man. Anyway,
do it.
Dave was like, how much?
He's like, oh.
All right, man. So the first thing I see here is Ely is rumored to be vacating the lightweight title and won't return until spring 2026. He claims we're going to be really surprised what happens with the UFC lightweight division. Oof. Do you think that's true, man? You think Ely's going to vacate like the 155 title?
Man, I don't see because didn't he kind of already make a promise to the UFC, or didn't he say that he made a promise to the UFC that he was going to at least defend the title once? Because that was kind of like their whole thing with letting him move up the weight classes. That they were like, hey, can you hold on to the belt? Because we've seen it before. The UFC doesn't like to do the vacant title thing because there's no consistency with hey, this guy's taking the belt off the former champ and stuff like that. There's not a lot of big storylines. It's just big names in for a title fight. There's no storyline as far as taking the belt from the champ. So I would be very surprised. Because I personally thought that the Gaethje fight was going to be made. You see stories online and stuff, so you don't know what's true or not. But they're saying that there's going to be a very good chance that Patty gets the title shot. Maybe it could be Patty versus Gaethje for the vacant, and then if Patty beats Gaethje, then that's when Topuria will fight Patty. I don't know. Anything could be a possibility at this point. But yeah, I would be very surprised to see Topuria vacate the title right now.
Yeah, it just I guess doesn't make a whole lot of sense in my opinion. So let's see what else they got posted there on West Till Death. Let's see here. There we go. Something kind of fun here. Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez is rumored to be targeted for UFC 325 February 1st in Australia. What's your thoughts on that, man? We haven't really seen Sean Strickland go against many heavy wrestlers. Not even that there's many in the middleweight division, but kind of a test that we haven't seen for Sean Strickland, as well as getting Anthony Hernandez that number one contender spot. Really,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me personally, that's what sucks about the RDR fight because, as you said, I mean, could you imagine what he could have done to RDR? Had he gotten
mm-hmm.
the opportunity to fight him. So, and it does seem like Hamza's not going to fight for a while. He already said he's not going to fight until after Ramadan. Maybe this could potentially set up, because I guess when would that be? Maybe April, May, June, maybe something like that. If he decides to come back, uh, maybe that could set up to be, who could potentially fight for the title next. And if Sean Strickland wins, he's going to cut a promo to get himself in the title picture.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if he's able to talk enough smack and they have the footage where Strickland and Hamza trained before, maybe Strickland get a title shot too. So you could potentially have a number one contender type, or maybe next title challenger coming up out of this. And it's a really tough test for Hernandez to kind of see if he's, like you said, see if he's title worthy.
Yeah, man. It should be a fun one. Let's see what else we got here. Did you see the
Do
whole?
you think that fight actually happens though? Like, do you think the fight actually happens? I know it said it was rumored, but
I think so. I think so. Why not, man? Why not?
I guess it seems like Strickland's been a little bit more diligent in his matchmaking as of his last few fights because he's been wanting to make sure he can kind of align himself with a title shot with his next couple wins. So even though Hernandez is 4, I could see him saying, "Oh well, who the hell is Anthony Hernandez and why do I need to fight him?" Kind of dumb Sean Strickland stuff.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Did you see this today? Or yeah, I think it was earlier today. So apparently, Khabib launched some kind of NFT token shit. That has to do like with like his he had his dad's name in it or some shit like that. And he was, like promoted it for like a day and then like fucking pulled down all the shit. And apparently it was like some kind of fucking scam. Did you see that? And if it's true, what are your thoughts on that, man?
I did see the stories. I'd like for a couple things to come out because man, it does seem that something that would just be very out of character for somebody like Habib, just somebody that we've known to be. I know Connor kind of slammed him for being the so-called good guy, but he's kind of had that mindset. Family man, kind of a grounded guy. So it would be pretty shocking to think he would do something like that, and you would think that he's kind of got enough now to where he doesn't really need to be scamming people for money. I would imagine that he wouldn't do anything. I know that there have been people who attach their names to certain things like that. Because didn't Hamzat have like a similar scandal as well,
Mm-hmm.
where he attached his name to some sort of Bitcoin type kind of like money or something like that, and come to find out the guy was a scammer and things. So I would not be surprised if someone kind of said, hey, this could be a good idea, and at first they're along with it, but once they realize who the person is, they realize, hey, there's something, there's some foul play here. So I would not be surprised if Khabib got caught up in some mess that he didn't necessarily co-sign, fully knowing what was going on.
Yeah, man. I agree. What's your thoughts here, man? Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes is rumored to be targeted for UFC 324, January 24th in Las Vegas T-Mobile Arena. What's your thoughts on that, man?
I'm still surprised that Amanda Nunes ended up coming out of retirement. I don't know why. Maybe just because I thought she was, pretty consistent with retiring. But I will say, man, I do think that, and I'll just say it right now, it's gonna be a tough matchup for Kayla, dude. Like, she's a good wrestler. She can get the fight to the ground most of the time, and if she gets it there, she's very dangerous. But man, it's not easy to take down Amanda Nunes. Kayla Harrison did have some tough times taking down Holly Holm. An older Holly Holm at that.
And
now she wasn't able to get the fight
Caitlin Vieira, dude. She didn't fucking get her down easy
Caitlin
either.
Vieira, she did not get a takedown against Caitlin Vieira, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or if she did, Caitlin Vieira pretty much got right back up to her feet. She just kind of got controlled in that fight. And, Juliana Pena was a perfect matchup for Kayla Harrison, but I mean, if Amanda Nunes is in the -2s, that's worthy enough to bet straight up for me.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know what I mean? I think you can hammer home some big money on that. Because if Amanda Nunes is in any sort of form to where she was before she retired,
She probably knocks out Kayla Harrison.
Yeah,
I think she knocks out Kayla Harrison.
It's a legacy fight for Kayla Harrison. I get it. It's, you're going to make big money. She's obviously going to go with it. And she's not going to run from a challenge, which is why we like Kayla Harrison. But yeah, it's just a bad matchup, in my opinion.
Yeah. Real quick, before we get into Sean Brady, didn't we talk about last week how Arnold Allen said that he fucking wanted to move up to 155?
Yeah, I believe so.
And then now January 24th is rumored to be in the works against John Silva at 145. Dude, I don't understand what's happening here, man.
Yeah, that is I noticed that Lerone Murphy did the same thing, not too long ago. I think really, sometimes guys might be getting in the
like
Ortega
has been doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Ortega's been doing it. I think a lot of times, maybe the UFC might be trying to shelve these guys. And I think a lot of times they're just like, hey, I don't care who I fight. I just want to go and fight, at the end of the day, because, you do get paid to fight. And if they're, if they're on the sideline a little bit longer than they want, maybe they don't get the chance to make as much money. They might have some bills due and stuff like that, man. I gotta get going. So, maybe Arnold Allen is trying to do that. So maybe the UFC could finally give him an offer, and he was able to get that.
Yeah, maybe.
And honestly, and as far as the fight overall, that's a hell of a matchup. Arnold Allen, he gets hurt, but he also brings the pain himself. And John Silva, we just saw, again, he might have hurt Diego Lopez in moments, but obviously he got crumpled there. Arnold Allen's got a little bit of that dog in him, so this could be another one of those dog fights.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Let's see what else we got. Sean Brady, thoughts about moving down to 155? I know you have, I guess, more positive thoughts on this than I do, because I'm kind of like, man, I just see him as so muscled up at 170. I can't really even imagine him down at 155, but maybe you can, D-Rose. Tell me about it, dude.
Yeah, well, in just in terms of, he is jacked. But there are guys to where they can make themselves lean, maybe drop some of the muscle that he's got, kind of work on more just getting the body weight down in general, just get it down a lot of the body fat, because ultimately muscle does way more than fat, and he is a jacked dude at 170. But for me, and it was my biggest problem going into the Michael Morales fight, and even looking back on the Bilal Muhammad fight, and certain matchups against those top guys, he's gonna have a tough time, because his striking is coming along, but like when he fought Morales, did he even land a punch? Like, just
I
being
don't
honest,
know,
because
dude.
and Morales is obviously a different type of size, but you're also talking about Ian Gary. You're also talking about Carlos Pratos. You're Michael Morales. You guys like that. These guys are absolute monsters, and just in terms of their size. And I think that Sean Brady's going to have and Shavkat Rakhmonov as well, another guy who is a pretty big guy for the division. That's going to be a tough time for Sean Brady to ever really get a title shot. And like I said, make himself lean, get some of the muscle off. Go down to 155, because I think he can give a lot of guys at 155 a problem. With that grappling, the way that he's able to take guys down, we've seen him take certain 170 pounders down and be able to get the job done. But we have seen that he's very limited up at the top of 170. So I think a shakeup, and he's still a little bit younger. And what is he, 32, 33? So he's not.
I think
He's not,
he might even be in his late 20s still, man. Let's see.
yeah. Well, if he's in his late 20s, then even better. But I was under the assumption that he was like in his early 30s. But
he's 33.
yeah, 30. So he's not necessarily in his prime, but kind of still in that window where if he wants to get a title shot, the going's now.
Yeah, man, I agree. We'll see what happens with old Sean Brady. We just talked about that one, dude. This. I'm not a proponent. I have boycotted all the Jake Paul fights, dude. But man, if there's one that I'm like, I might tune into that one. The size difference, dude. I hope Anthony Joshua knocks Jake Paul clean the fuck out, dude. I really hope so. But could you imagine if somehow Jake Paul, by some miracle, wins that fight, dude? Like, what the fuck is going on with this universe?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And it still kind of makes me think, I know we talked a little bit about it last week, but just kind of, seeing them two face off is kind of like, oh, this is happening. Like, there's
Yeah.
no, there's no backing down from this for Jake Paul. If he ends up pulling out with the injury, nobody's going to let him hear the end of it. So it's it's kind of like a lose-lose for him, and in a certain position. And it's almost a lose-lose for both guys, because like Jake Paul, nobody thinks he's going to win. Now, if he was to win, obviously that'd be a big deal. But former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, who is significantly bigger than Jake Paul. I know they got the weight clause in there where Joshua can't weigh any more than 245. So if something like that is to happen, he tips the scale a little bit higher. I can see Jake Paul saying, "Hey, no fight. You broke the contract rules or whatever." But man, putting a little bit of realization that this fight's going to happen. And Jake Paul, his back's against the wall. He's but I will give him credit. He's putting his stones on the table and going for it.
Yeah, man, indeed.
So take a fight with Anthony Joshua, dude, like heavyweight champion, like Anthony Joshua. Like, dude, just imagine that. Like, you're fighting these influencers, and you're fighting past prime MMA fighters who don't even really box that much. Now you're going to fight a heavyweight champion. That's a big
heavyweight
jump.
champion, or like
Yeah,
just not current,
very
but,
recently.
what was just
Yeah, within the last
It's
3 years was champion. So yeah, that's I will give him credit. He's
just
taking a very good challenge.
just snoozed Francis, dude, not too long ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
dude, I've never seen fucking Francis even hurt, dude, and that's why it's like, seeing him out cold, I was like, whoa.
That's the part. The only time I ever thought Francis was rocked against Stipe in the second fight, when Francis was kind of rushing him, and Stipe lands a right hand, and it looked like Francis got wobbled, but I think he just got so off balance because he was throwing big punches, and then all of a sudden, he obviously lands a knockout blow. But
Sniped him.
that's the part right there. We've never seen Francis hurt, dude, and he got snoozed by Joshua.
Yeah, man, indeed. So moving on into other news, we've got Conor McGregor saying that his life has been saved. He went and did an ayahuasca trip in Mexico. Dude said that he's been saved. I don't know. Phil feel free to read this. I'm not going to read all that, but apparently he's a new man now. What's your thoughts on this? I guess enlightenment that Conor McGregor has had, D-Rose.
I mean, at this point, he's just a wild dude, and maybe he did the Aaron Rodgers thing where he just goes into this darkness retreat. But you know, we got to see some work put in from you first before we really take anything what you say seriously. So yeah, he's had a lot of times where he said he's cleaned up and he hasn't. So he's at a prove it stage to where I don't really care about what he's saying. I need to see the improvements before I believe anything he's saying.
That's fair. That's fair, man. I don't see anything else. Do you have anything, man? I do have one other question before we get off the news topic, though.
No, I'm really just going to ask that, because we were kind of talking about the title fight earlier, but with Armin, doing what he did, do you think that Armin is going to get a title shot next? And with the news for Topuria as well, potentially, do you think Armin has worked his way to a title shot?
It's probably going to be they're just going to do triple threat match: Ilya versus Justin versus Armin for for the lightweight title. Last man standing. I quit match.
A TLC as well. Let's go ahead and get the
steel cage match. Like they're already in steel cage. They're already in a steel cage.
Yeah. No, let's go further and let's do an elimination chamber to where you're entrapped in a cage. And now you gotta fight your way out to get the win.
Oh my god. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's tough because Justin says that he's retiring if he doesn't get the next title shot. So something tells me he's for sure fighting for the title. But I feel like Ilya doesn't want to fight Justin for some reason.
Which is weird because like you said, I would think that he would be a not an easy matchup, but in terms of the style, a more favorable stylistic matchup. But again, I told you from the start that I think Gaethje's live in that fight. A lot of people don't think so, but with that heavy boxing style that Topuria has, you don't think Justin Gaethje's leg kicks are going to present some sort of problem for Topuria?
Yeah.
So to me, I think that would be a potentially entertaining fight, but obviously, as you said, Ilya doesn't want that fight for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. So we'll see what happens there. It's kind of like Ilya is the champ. In theory, Justin should be fighting for the title next because if not, then he's retiring. But Patty is there, dude. I think they might do Patty versus Armin, and then they end up getting Ilya versus Justin done.
You think, you think Armin actually takes it? So do you think
Dude,
Armin actually takes the fight against Patty?
I think he's willing to do whatever at this point to get back into the UFC's good graces because he knows that he fucked up.
Yeah. And the weird part about that too is that so people said the back and stuff. I've heard some people say that they think that it could have potentially been a weight.
It was his weight. Yeah, it was his. Yeah, that's what fucking Dana says is that he fucking missed weight because it happened the morning of weight cut, not the morning of the fight. It's like, all right, well, but I mean, we saw those head exercises come into play this past weekend against fucking Dan Hooker because he just did like a headstand and then just got right out of the guillotine, dude. Yeah. They're like, oh, that's why he does that.
Yeah, no, that was and honestly, dude, that was like super smooth. Like I saw Sean O'Malley's reaction to when he did that. And he's like, wow, look at Armin like spinning out of there, the 360 180 double flip. But but no, it was funny actually watching that reaction, but no, that was a sick move from Armin. So he's obviously talented, but yeah, like you said, it's the weight cut thing. As long as he can get his weight under control, I wouldn't be shocked if he got a title fight. But that wouldn't be a bad matchup either if he did Armin versus Patty, or do Armin and Patty for the vacant title. As you said, that they could be surprised with what could happen next at lightweight. Maybe it ends up being Armin versus Patty.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? All right, dude. We talked about. You remember a few weeks ago we talked about the whole UFC betting scandal, about how the news came out that there were hundreds of fights under investigation and all of that, and then Dana came out and said, like, that's bullshit. And my whole thing from the beginning was that, who is this Harry Mack guy? Like it's not like he's some known reporter or anything like that. It's just some guy. So who knows if this information is true? But one thing that stuck out to me, and that I kind of have a question now, is that in his reports a few weeks ago, or like a month ago now, however long ago it was that a lot of Jason Herzog's fights were in question. And dude, when have you seen him over these past 3 weeks now? I haven't seen him ref one fight over these past few weeks.
Yeah.
I wonder if some shit is is it true? We'll see. But dude, it just looks bad that report comes out, and then he's not at any fucking UFC events for fucking 2 or 3 weeks. Now maybe he was just on vacation or some shit, but it's just an odd time to take it when all of that happens, dude.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I believe the report because as you said, we have seen some questionable Jason Herzog moments over even the last few months, but over the last few years for sure. And he's has some. He was kind of noted at one point as like the top ref, but as you said, about the last year and a half, he's kind of been
just
like
odd decisions he's making. Like, why are you doing this?
When he's typically the gold standard for officiating. I think he kind of took the reins from Herb being there for a little bit, but I would imagine that if he is being investigated, that I don't know whether he's either not allowed to work, or he's probably getting advised by some lawyers right now, like, hey, if you're getting questioned for questionable decisions and stuff that you're doing in fights, let's not bring any attention to that right now, positively or negatively. Just kind of stay under the radar for now and kind of, I guess, battle things behind closed doors. But honestly, and that leads you to believe, as you said, he's not been out here the last couple of weeks. There's a little bit of truth to that reporting, and I think Dana is, as you said, when, he kind of came with that reporter saying it was BS about the reports and everything. I think he's more so defending the UFC to say, hey, we're not fixing fights. We're not fixing fights. Dana, they're not saying that you're fixing the fights. There could be a potential that guys that are working within the organization, officials, fighters, everybody like
coaches,
that, their
teammates are the thing. Dude, think about this. There's teammates not in the UFC that train in gyms that UFC fighters train in, dude. They can see like a fighter, hurt their fucking rib 2 weeks before. Dude, ribs take a long time to heal, dude. And then they can just go tell a whole bunch of people, hey, he fucking hurt his fucking rib last week. Let's fucking bet on the other guy.
Well, dude, and I will tell you, I listen to Aljamain Sterling's podcast a lot. I know not a lot of people do. And I am so surprised. Obviously, we're not going to get enough viewers for me to bring.
There's literally right now
talk about
4 people watching. There's 4 people watching this, dude. Careful.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to be careful here. We're gonna get Aljo taken down, but dude, his friends on his podcast actively talk about betting on them, or betting on Marab, or betting
because there's no rules that they can't. It's just UFC fighters or employees.
Yeah, exactly. So there are people like that could be potential outside influences. Hey, we appreciate it.
Shout out, Dave. Dave.
We appreciate it as always. But yeah, there's potential outside influences that could play into it more than what we realize. And as I said, listening to them talk about it on the podcast, they openly say, "Well, Aljo, yeah, I bet big money on you in your last fight," or something like that. And I'm like, dude,
you never bet on Aljo.
How are you releasing this? Like, how are you releasing this? And not.
But they're probably not. They're not betting enough for it to matter and to change a line. Like it has to be millions of dollars being bet. You think Aljo's
Right.
friends got millions? No.
Yeah, but I mean, like, hell, look at Calvin Ridley in the NFL a couple years ago. I know it's a different equation, but he bet like $1,000, and he bet on his team to win. Like, he bet on the Falcons to win, and you know, he ended up getting jammed up for that. And that was like, you know, $1,000, $1,500 or something like that he had bet. So I don't necessarily think the amount is what is going to come into question. It's just the whole betting sports integrity standard that, you know, they're trying to uphold, and especially if you got somebody who, you know, getting bet on, and, you know, as you said, could throw a
Dude,
fight
but
or
there's
do whatever. But
I think it's like the rule of 10, it's either 5 or 10 that you can be connected to every person in the world through 5 or 10 people. Like you're going to know someone like 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 who knows X person, who knows X person, who knows X person. So everyone in the world they're not far away from the information that's there. So it's kind of hard to track down because it's like, dude, everyone knows a person, but do they know the correct person that has information on, you know, whatever's going to happen, dude? Yeah, like it's like all it takes is a little trickle down effect and fucking, you know, it's like you have a little bit more, you have a slight edge. Like you know,
yeah,
am I going to bet thousands on it? No, because I don't fucking trust my family. You think I'm going to trust a fucking fighter to do their job? Fuck no.
yeah, yeah, 100%. So yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, I think just going back to Herzog, I do think it's a little bit of a, hey, block is hot right now. Let's keep this thing under wraps, and let's keep you off the you know, radar until we can get this all resolved.
Do you think we see him next week at the pay-per-view, dude? Because usually pay-per-views is like Herb Dean, Mark Smith, Jason Herzog, Mark Goddard. Like they usually don't do too many. Like, and they're going to be in fucking Vegas too. So I guess we'll see
I
next
gotta
week. Yeah.
imagine. I mean, we're probably gonna see Dan Mergliotta and gosh, why do I always forget his name with the mustache?
Mike
Uh,
Beltran.
yeah, Mike Beltran. I think we might see them two in instead of Herzog next week. You know, because they're kind of considered, as you said, Herb Dean and Mark Goddard as well, and Mark Smith. I think those will be your 5 on the pay-per-view, because yeah, I think Herzog's going to keep it low. And, you know, these investigations, if they've been taking as long, you know, we heard about the investigations in the NBA where this has been like a year and a half, 2 years,
Dude,
some
I've
even
been
longer.
seeing it. Dude, I've been seeing it everything now. NBA, NFL, college
Yeah,
football, college basketball, dude.
yeah,
It's like something happened over this past few months where it's like they're releasing information on what they've been fucking looking into. Maybe it's just a scare tactic to get people to be like, "Oh shit, I'm
well,
gonna get caught. I fucking better stop." Or like maybe they actually might be looking into some shit.
and honestly too, just like, you know, with Chauncey Billups and them, as they said, that was years of information that they had been collecting before they decided to go ahead and you know, prosecute them, or, you know, whatever they had to do. That was years of information that they built up. So I you know, I would not be surprised if we don't see Herzog for a while, if I'm being honest.
Oh wow! And shout out Dave, hit a TD parlay this past weekend. D Rose,
Let's
that's what we
go.
should do. That's what we should do. We should cook up something for the boys the night before NFL Thanksgiving Thursday. Let's cook up something for the boys. Who all is going to score a touchdown tomorrow? What do we have? 3 games tomorrow?
Oh well, me and Amber actually already cooked one up earlier. Amber has already played it, and I am going to Taylor. This might
All
play.
right. What is it?
This might not. I have not played it yet, so I'm actually in the process of building this now. But
All right,
we
hold
think
on. Let me deposit real quick into my prospects. Hopefully it fucking lets me because they fucking limited me a couple of days ago. Did it work? Hey, it worked. It worked. I was able to put a few dollars in the prospects. So what's the TD parlay, D-Rose?
so what we're looking at, and I do have to make sure the Lions player that we were looking at, because I think it was either Amon Ra or Jameer Gibbs. But in this one, just because the odds, I want to go Amon Ra. So Amon Ra St. Brown
To get a
and Josh
touchdown. All
Jacobs.
right. Josh Jacobs.
So,
So not Emmanuel Wilson?
Josh Jacobs is playing tomorrow. So
Okay.
yeah, Josh Jacobs is playing tomorrow, and the line is -120 right now. So you got to go ahead and take advantage of that. For the Kansas City and Dallas game, we think that Rashee Rice and CeeDee Lamb are going to be the touchdown scorers in that game.
Okay.
So we feel good about that. And in the Baltimore and Cincinnati game, we got Jamar Chase and we got Mark Andrews.
All right. So that's 6 of them. What do you got? $5 on that? $10 on that?
Yeah, $5. You get plus 6,999. $5 wins you $349.99. To me, that's
good.
100% worth it.
Not as good over
And
here
since
on Prize Picks, but I guess if I was to power play it, I could win $250. But I'm gonna do the flex play, and that way, if one don't score, I at least win some dollars back. So for me, D-Rose, those 6, if they score, is $175. But if only 5 of them score, then I get $11.25.
Hey, and Dave, I see you say, Pickens with CD. The only reason why I'm going with CD is because you see the headlines from the last game. CD had a couple drops in the Eagles game. He had a little bit of a tough time. Headlines are coming out now where, he's telling himself he needs to catch the ball. They're going to look to feed him a lot in this game. And plus, Kansas City is going to be on the lookout for, George Pickens, where he's been going off in the last couple of games. So I think George Pickens is going to get a lot of attention, to where I think CeeDee Lamb's going to get a lot of those one-on-one looks. And I think the offense is going to intentionally try to feed him to get his confidence back up, to try to get him rolling again. And honestly, for me, I'm actually going to be looking to maybe play CeeDee Lamb first touchdown score in that game as well. That's how confident I am on that.
All right, D-Rose. For me, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Jahmyr Gibbs for a touchdown, David Montgomery for a touchdown, so them both to score a touchdown. And then I don't think I'm going to do anyone from Green Bay because I'm bad at picking Green Bay. And then I'm going to go Travis Kelce to score.
That's easy.
I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm telling you, every time I pick someone, they don't score. Let's do Kelce.
That's because you're not picking Josh Jacobs. Like, he's literally the only person who scores a touchdown on the team besides Emmanuel Wilson. And he's the other guy.
Let's see here. Let's go Travis Kelce. Is Tyquan Thornton still on the team? Or no?
He's not good. He might get 2-3 targets a game. That's 100% not worth it.
All right. Tyquan Thornton. And
you literally just in one ear and out the other.
And then let's go Isaiah Likely and Noah Fant. That's my 60 rows. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Kelce, Tyquan Thornton, Isaiah Likely, and Noah Fant. That's my 6 leg. $5 to win 1,300. And
it's only $5.
Yeah, right. It ain't like I'm gonna hit the shit anyway. And if I hit 5 of the 6, I fucking still win 100. 4 of the 6 is still $20 back if fucking 4 of them score. So not bad. Not bad. I'm sure
terrible, but I definitely wouldn't put all my eggs in the basket of all of them, especially with Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, believe me, I don't hit all of them ever, dude. Ever. So, but hey, neither do you.
I definitely don't. I definitely don't. But yeah, and the worst part is for Thornton, he just completely fades out of the offense. It's like they don't even look his way. That's
dude. Like the first few games, like I like he was getting like fucking 60-yard passes and shit. Like he was putting up like 100 yards a game. Now Rashee Rice is back. He gets no throws.
His last game, 1 target, no catches. Game before, 2 targets, 1 catch.
He's due. He's due.
1 target, 0 catch. The game before, 0 targets, 0 catches. So yeah, they took him out of the offense completely, even when he was providing for him earlier in the year, which is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's due. Maybe he's due on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, Tyquan Thornton, triple threat, triple T's. We're going touchdowns,
game,
maybe, dude. We'll see. All right. Anything else before we get out of here, man? Or are you good to go?
No. I think we're good to go and everything.
All right. Let's see what Dave says before we get out of here. I hit Henry, Amon Ra, Pickens, CMC, and JSN. Easy.
Hell yeah.
That's good, Dave. I'm glad you won something, man. Yeah, for me, D Rose, I'll win $100 and then I'll just lose it the next day. Like, I hate winning. Like I'm not gonna say I hate winning, but if I can win $100 is almost like you just let me bet more the next day and then just feel like a fucking idiot because I fucking lost it because I felt confident because I won the day before. I'm like, okay, and so you bet a little bit more the next day and you lose it and then you chase. And then you just lost it all that you won the day before. But at least it was free, right?
Yeah. But,
at least it was free.
Yeah. You're playing with their money, but still at the end of the day, it sucks that you get the account built up a little bit, and then it seems like it can go right away just like that. You see, you're seeing 3-4 figures, and which I've never seen 4 figures in my account, but I've seen 3 figures a couple times, and then all of a sudden it gets dwindled down. Like, where did it all go?
Crazy, man. Crazy. But that's the life of degenerate gamblers, dude. It's fun, though. It's fun. Makes the games more interesting to watch, dude. Like, I care about every game now. But I will say if it's the third quarter and all my shit's got no chance of hitting, I'm just fuck this game and I'll just fucking turn it off, dude. I see just a fucking meme earlier, dude. Where it was fucking Brock Lesnar. When you fucking sit back to relax after your fucking parlay's crushed in the first 5 minutes, he's just slamming his feet down on the table, just pissed off. You didn't watch it after we get done with this. You have to watch it after we get done with this. Here we go. Just fucking play right here. Ah, come on. Here we go. Me sitting down to watch
the
game. Dude,
I don't want to
exactly how it feels, dude. Fuck, man. Can you try chasing, dude? The other day pissed me off because they fucking wouldn't let me put fucking any more money in. And it was probably because I had probably fucking 10 different bets open, over in some, under in some, and they're probably oh, this dude's gonna fucking make it to where he's fucking gonna win no matter what. There's some shit like that. But yeah, it is what it is. I gotta wait a few weeks to get my Texas license, and then I'll be able to use Underdog and shit like that, dude. But I do want to go to Vegas at some point, probably maybe the first quarter of this upcoming year. So I think I'm gonna head out to Vegas at some point because I'm gonna head your way January time frame, and then right after then I'm gonna head to Vegas for a weekend or some shit like that. Maybe go watch a fight. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'll be that'll be interesting seeing you in Vegas. I know you've been there before, but with the sole intention of going up there with with playing with some money. I don't know how. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think you probably noticed more than me with the bets that I've been fucking sending you. You're like, oh, he's actually betting on the it ain't really $5 or $10 anymore. It's I'm putting
he playing
25 on a parlay, 50 on a fucking 6-leg. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Because it's I don't really have the time to chase it fucking anymore, and the props aren't, I don't have sub 1-2. I don't have sub 2-3. I just have sub fucking decision. I don't have 3 or decision anymore. So it's kind of I kind of gotta just go fucking money line and just hold my nose and just put a little bit more money on it because that's my only option. So when I go to Vegas, it'll be cool. Maybe I put a some cool parlays together since I don't have those options anymore.
Yeah, no, very much so. But But yeah, I can see it. I can see it getting a little crazy up there in the casino. So just be careful.
Oh,
That'd be awesome.
I ain't going. I ain't got no plan yet, man. I'm gonna fucking come there first. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I got to get lucky over these next few months because football is almost over, dude, and I ain't got nothing else to bet on here. So we'll see what happens. I'm just kidding. I fucking bet basketball every second of every day. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day. But shout out, Dave. Y'all boys have a happy Thanksgiving. Stay black and be thankful. I'll try, Dave. I'll try, man.
Always thankful.
I'll at least get one of two of those down. I'm not sure which one, but I'll do one of them.
I'm getting ready to go up here right after this thing's over and start prepping one of my turkeys for tomorrow. So I'm already ready for Thanksgiving, and we over here we always thankful.
All right, yes sir, yes sir. With that being said, as D Rose and Dave said, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so y'all go out there, enjoy your time with your family. I am thankful for all of y'all that stopped by, watch this us bullshit just every single week. Thank y'all for just keeping us having a good time here. Me and D Rose are just here talking for the most part, so we appreciate y'all for stopping in and saying what's up. Damn, D Rose got multiple turkeys.
Dave, hey, got one in the crock pot. I'm gonna put one in the deep fryer tomorrow. We get down and dirty when we do it over here.
Just unnecessary amount of turkey. You're going to be eating turkey for like a month.
Hey, we usually string this thing out. We give leftovers to my parents. We normally string this thing out till about Monday. Maybe Sunday night, Monday night, I might turn this into turkey pot pie and stretch that for a couple of days. We go all out this time of year.
That's crazy. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy that. I hope everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving feast tomorrow. Remember, just be thankful. Just be nice to people. You never know what they are going through. So once again, we appreciate y'all for stopping by. If y'all haven't already, hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Y'all might see me again in the next couple of days putting out a card video. But if not, I hope y'all have a happy week. And me and D-Rose will see you guys next week for UFC. What is it? 323 or 320? Yeah, 323 picks, predictions, and all that. So until then, we'll see you guys next week. Y'all stay safe. Peace.